Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Liaquat and we are going through Quduri. Right, so let me know in the comments, guys, if you guys are subscribing, if you guys are liking, if you guys are sharing with other people. If you're a teacher and you're teaching as well, how do you find these lessons? Is it something that helps you? If you're a student and you've been studying it somewhere else, how do these lessons help you? Let me know, inshallah. So yajid is from wajada yajidu, to find something, right? Yuzidu is from azala yuzidu bab if'al, to remove. Then you've got yu'id is actually from a'ada yu'idu, right? To repeat. A'ada yu'idu i'adatan, which means to repeat something. Then you've got uryanan, which is the jama of ari. Qa'idan from qa'ada yaq'udu, ism fa'il. Yumi, ima'an. Ruku is to bow. Sujud is to do prostration. Ajza'ahu is ajza'a yujzi'u ijza', which means to suffice. Nawa yanwi, it means to make intention. Nawa yanwi. Then you got salat, which you guys know. Yafassala yafsilu, which means to separate. Then you've got separate, let's put that in. Tahrima, it means the first takbir. So when you start your salat and you do the first takbir, that's called the tahrima. Okay, istaqbala yastaqbilu istiqbal, which means to face something. Istaqbala yastaqbal from the word qabala. And qibla, it means direction, right? Which normally we talk about the Kaaba, being the qibla, the direction. Okay, illa an yakuna khaifan. Khaifan, it means scared. Yeah, fearful. Jiha means direction as well. Right, jiha. And then you got ishtabah qadara yaqdiru, which means to be able, capable. Then you got ishtabaha yashtabihu ishtibahan, which means to become confusing on something. Ishtabaha yashtabihu. Okay, then we've got so it's confusing. Qibla, I've done that before. Bihadratihi. Hadrat means in presence, someone's presence. Ijtahada yajtahidu ijtihadan, which means to make effort, hard work. Ukhta'a yukhti'u, it means to make a mistake. There's quite a lot of sentences in today's lesson. Aada yu'idu, it means we've done that before, right? To repeat. And then istadara yastadiru, it means to turn direction, right? To turn. And then bana yabni, it means to build, right? To build, base something on. Now there's one word I missed out, yumi at the top right hand. Oma yumi, it means to do ishara, to do indications. Okay, let's look at this then. So tarkib. So mubtada yajidu is fi'l, ma is mawsul, yuzidu is the fi'l plus the fa'il, bihi is jar majroor, and najasa is the maf'ul bihi. صلى مفعول به. صلى is the fi'l plus the fa'il. معها is مضاف إليه. Both of these put together now becomes the dharf. Okay, so you got dharf over there, and then you got ولم يعيد. So واو is عطف, يعيد is fi'l plus the fa'il from يعيد جزم. من is مبتدا, لم يجد is fi'l plus fa'il. ثوبا is the مفعول به. صلى is fi'l plus the fa'il. Uryanan is going to be the hal now, first hal. And qa'idan is going to be the second hal. Yumi أو ما يومي إيماءً fi'l plus the fa'il. بالركوع jar majroor, and actually make this ma'tuf alayhi. This ma'tuf alayhi. Waw is the ataf. And then sujud is the ma'tuf. Ma'tuf plus ma'tuf alayhi is going to become the majroor. Then you got فَإِن صَلَّى. So in is shart. صلى is fi'l fa'il. قائما is the hal. أجزأه is the fi'l plus the fa'il. Hu is the maf'ul bihi. Al-awwal is the mubtada. Afdal is the khabar. Yanwi, nawa, yanwi. Fi'l plus the fa'il. للصلاة jar majroor. التي يدخل التي موصول. يدخل is fi'l fa'il. فيها is jar majroor. بنية is jar majroor. لا يفصل. فصل يفصل is fi'l plus fa'il. بينها is مضاف إليه. واو is عطف, and that becomes ظرف. And then you've got واو is عطف. بين is مضاف. التحريمة is مضاف إليه وكسر ده. بعمل is جار. عمل is مضاف. الناس مضاف إليه مجرور دي. sorry جار مجرور. واو is استئناف. يستقبل is فعل plus the فاعل. القبلة, this is going to be the مفعول به. Okay, and then you got إلا which is استثناء. and أن is ناصبة. يكون is فعل ناقص and the اسم يكون with the منصوب. خائفا is the خبر of كان. يصلي is فعل plus the فاعل. إلى is جار. أي is مضاف and then جهة is مضاف إليه and then قدر يقدر is the شرط فعل plus فاعل. sorry فعل plus فاعل not the شرط. إن اشتبهت is فعل and عليه جار مجرور. قبلة is فاعل of اشتبهت. ليس is فعل ناقص and بحضرته is جار مضاف إليه that becomes مجرور. and then من is the موصول and that's going to become the ism of ليس by the way. يسأله is فعل plus the فاعل. عنها is and who is the مفعول به. عنها is جار. ها is مجرور. اجتهد is فعل plus the فاعل. and then واو is عطف and then صلى is فعل فاعل. Now all that اجتهد وصلى is the جزاء of إن اشتبهت. إن is شرط. علم is فعل plus the فاعل. أنه is أن is حرف مشبه بالفعل. who is the اسم of أن أخطأ يخطئ إخطاء is the فعل فاعل. بعد is مضاف then موصول فعل فاعل and that becomes the ظرف. okay, لا إعادة is اسم of لا and then لا نفي الجنس. عليه is جار مجرور. in is شرط. علم is فعل فاعل and ذلك is the مفعول به اسم إشارة. هو is مبتدأ. في is جار. الصلاة is مجرور. جار مجرور is going to be خبر. استدار is فعل plus فاعل. إلى is جار. القبلة is مجرور. بنى is فعل plus the فاعل and عليها is جار مجرور. and they have تركيب. okay, let's explain the maslas now. so the maslas here, there's actually 4 main maslas that we have to deal with. First masla is the masla of if a person has impurity on their clothes and they got nothing to remove it, can they pray their salat in there or not? So let's say this guy is wearing some crazy clothes and he's got impurity on his clothes. If he can remove it, he must remove it. Like we said before, you're only allowed to have the size of a dirham, a coin. But if you can't remove it, like there's impurity there, there's no water, there's no liquid or anything to remove it, then what does he do? In that case, then he prays in that situation. Right? So, he won't be held responsible. He can pray like that. So imagine this guy who's praying, who's supposed to be praying, looks a bit weird. So let's say the guy's got clothes on and he's got this impurity on there and he's got nothing to remove it. Does he not pray or does he pray with it on? So he prays with it on. Right? So like the lesser of the 2 evils. So this is the first scenario. So he says, Man lam yajid, whoever cannot find, ma yuzilu bihi najasa, that by which he can remove the impurity, salla ma'aha, he prays with it, walam yu'id, and does not repeat. Okay, next, second masla. What if a person does not have the appropriate clothes to wear to pray? So for example, like normally, obviously you have a full, suit on or whatever that you pray with. But let's say a person doesn't have that, they're naked. Or let's say the person has just their underwear on or something. I don't know, their clothes got nicked, taken away, robbed. And this is a funny guy, look at him. Blue underwear and stick man. So what does he do? So if he has no clothes, that's one scenario. Or if he has clothes available. So if he's got clothes available, he must pray in them. He must wear them. And if he has no clothes, that's all he's got. He's allowed to pray in that. Right? So, like we said, if he's got other clothes available, he must wear those clothes. At least cover the body, like we said last lesson. Between the navel and the knees, he has to cover that. And if he doesn't, he just prays as is. Like, for example, there's a woman who doesn't have enough cloth to cover her body. She's got, cloth to cover certain parts, but not all of it. Then in that case, she just prays as it is. This is like a rare scenario that would ever occur. But if it does, it can happen when someone maybe is locked in a room or something and there's no clothes there, no nothing, and they've got like just, a woman's hair showing or a man's, just got his shorts on or something. Then in that case, they pray in that situation. So this is why he says, وَمَنْ لَمْ يَجِدْ ثَوْبًا, whoever cannot find clothing, صَلَّ أُرْيَانًا, he prays naked. Now how does he pray though? So there's two ways that he can pray now. So either he's going to pray like a normal person, right? Like we pray. Stand and do ruku and do sujood, even though you're naked, right? Or the second option is that he prays with ishara, right? He prays with indication. So that's one way, pray normal standing, and pray ishara, pray sitting. Okay. So although standing is allowed and doing ruku and sujood is allowed, sitting is better, right? Sitting with indication meaning don't do ruku, don't do sujood, because obviously if a person is naked, then if they do ruku and sujood, the private area is going to become more exposed, and the private area is like very, very sort of severe when it comes to nakedness. That's like the most severe part of nakedness. So that's, you don't want other people to see that. So this is why when you sit down, you're covering your body more. You're kind of using your limbs to cover up the private area. Okay, so that's why sitting down is more preferable. So even though standing and praying normally with full ruku and full sujood is allowed, but praying sitting down is more ideal in this situation. That's why he says it's afdal. Okay, so I think what I'll do here, let me just bring out the stickman. Where are the stickman? Okay, let me just show you. Here's one. Okay, here's stickman. So let's say, for example, this is stickman, right? And this guy's naked, so he looks a bit naked anyway. So anyway, he's the ideal candidate for this. So for instance, if he's gonna pray, right, he can either pray standing. So he does his takbir, right? Allahu Akbar. And he prays and he does his full ruku. Yeah. It's a bit weird. Yeah. Does full ruku. And does full sajda. Yeah. But then as you can see, backside showing and all of that. he wants to kind of hide those areas. So what he does is he sits down. So one way he can sit down is to pray like this. Yeah. Yeah, pray like this, sitting. Or the other way that he can pray is like this. He sits on his backside, lifts up his knees and hides everything. Yeah, like that. Prays like that. I don't know if you guys can make it out, but yeah. This guy, he's just demonstrating for you guys. So that's what he does. So he says, Salla uryanan, he prays naked, qa'idan, sitting, yumi birruku. So instead of doing full ruku, he just does like bends his back, sitting. And for sujood, he goes a bit lower. This is called ima. Right, so let me try to just show you, because I tried to show you through the man, but you can't see. So let me, for example, let's say I'm sitting. So if I'm sitting, what I do is I lower down and then I go slightly lower for sujood. So ruku is not done correctly and sujood is not done correctly, but you indicate for it. That's basically what ima means. فَإِنْ صَلَّى قَائِمًا أَجْزَأَهُ. And if he prays standing, in صَلَّى قَائِمًا, standing, أَجْزَأَهُ, it suffices him. That's allowed as well. Okay, anyway. وَالْأَوَّلُ أَفْضَلُ. However, the first way is more better. In other words, sitting is more better than standing. Okay, masala number 3 now. The third masala is to do with intention now. Let's say, for example, there's this guy. He's left his house. He's going towards the mosque. And he's going for a dhuhr prayer. He's going all the way to the mosque. And when he leaves his house, in his head, why is he going to the mosque? Because he's going to pray dhuhr. So that is an intention itself. The question is he allowed to make an intention that far ahead? And then when he gets to the mosque, he doesn't think about it and just prays. Would that intention suffice, even though he's doing that long walk? So Hanafis generally say no, right? The gap between the intention and between starting the prayer cannot be very long. Like, how do they describe it? So they say the gap between making your intention and between saying Allahu Akbar cannot be interrupted with something that's foreign to Salat. So let's say, for example, you left your house and you made the intention, I'm going to the mosque because I'm going to pray my dhuhr. And on your way, you're there, you're talking to someone and you meet them and you start speaking about things, and then you carry on walking and you've totally forgotten why you're going to the mosque. But you go to the mosque and then you just raise your hands and you start your salat. And you can't remember why you did your intention. So in this situation, what do? You do the what's it? Repeat the intention again. So there can't be this gap between this. Okay, so ideally what it should be, your intention should be just before you start your takbir. So I mean, ideally it's like this, right? So you're thinking to yourself, what salat am I praying? And then you just say Allahu Akbar. Right? You don't have to say intention with your tongue. You don't have to say, I am standing in front of Allah and I am making the intention of the whole 4 rakats, Allahu. You don't have to do that. All you have to know is, what are you doing? Right? You are consciously going to pray your zuhr, khalas, Allahu Akbar, and just start your zuhr. Now, if you did make an intention from your home and you kind of didn't do too many things, possibly that intention would be allowed. But normally people kind of like know what they're doing. So that's it. There should be this immediate sort of intention. That's the third masala, right? The intention masala. The fourth masala is the final one, which is to do with the Qibla. And that is basically, when you're praying your salat, you have to face in the direction of the Qibla. Actually, let's just first of all translate this. So he says, وَيَنْوِي لِلصَّلَاةِ, he should make intention لِلصَّلَاةِ, for the prayer, التي, which يَدْخُلُ فِيهَا, in which he enters, بِنِيَةٍ, with such a niyyah, with such an intention, لَا يَفْصِلُ بَيْنَهَا, by which he does not separate between it, meaning it goes back to the niyyah, وَبَيْنَ التَّحْرِيمَةِ, and between the tahrima meaning the first takbir, bi'amalin, with an action, right? So if there's an action that occurs, then that intention kind of becomes nullified. Now you got to do your intention. Okay, now imagine this is the earth, right? And you have the Qibla. So Qibla is located today in Saudi Arabia. It's very easy for people now to locate with mobile phones and with Google Maps and all that. You can identify where roughly the Qibla is. So if you are praying your salat, then basically you have to try to get the direction of the Qibla wherever you are on earth. So if the Qibla is on your west, you face west. If it's on your east, you face east. If it's south, you face south. Wherever you are on the earth, you kind of just look for the direction. So if you're in England, you southeast. You're in Russia somewhere, then you're going to be looking at some maybe south. Africa, you're going to be looking at north. Australia, north, west. And somewhere like in India and China, these places, you're looking at towards the west, you're going to be facing. Right, so these are all the directions. So when you're praying your salat, it's necessary to find the Qibla. Right, so يستقبل القبلة إلا أن يكون خائفا, unless a person is scared. So what does this mean? So let's say, for example, there's the Qibla, the Kaaba, and a person should face that way, but there's a lion in the middle. So he can't face that way because otherwise he'll get attacked. So he starts running away. And this person has to pray their prayer. So they're allowed to pray in that case. Must be a lion, scary lion. I'm sure you guys are scared of this lion. And he has to pray this salat. But in this case, he's allowed to face whichever direction he wants because of the fear. He can't face that direction. So again, it's like one of those issues that we were talking about with impurity in your clothes. It's like the ruling drops because there's no other way out, right? So Allah would never burden a person more than they can bear. So therefore, this is something which is exempted. Okay, now there's another scenario over here with regards to the Qibla. So he says, فَيُصَلِّي إِلَى أَيِّ جِهَةٍ قَدَرَ. So the person prays in whichever direction he is capable of praying in. Okay, what if a person, let's say, is praying in a room but doesn't know where the Qibla is? Right, he doesn't know where the Qibla is. So sometimes it happens, you might be in an office somewhere or in a hotel and you don't know where the Qibla is. You don't know where north is, south is, your phone doesn't work. There's no sort of way. Like in England, for example, one of the ways you can identify where the Qibla is you look at satellite dishes. They tell you that the satellite dishes all face towards southeast. And Qibla is southeast, so you can kind of work that out. And if it's a daytime and you can see the sun shadow where the shadow is, you can even work out the Qibla by using the shadow, right? So that's one of the ways. But let's say you're in a room and you don't know. Ideally, you should ask someone. If there's no one there to ask, then pray in whichever direction you want. It's totally fine. Right? Whichever direction that you think most likely it's in, you pray in that direction. And even if you are wrong, after your prayer, you found out that you were wrong, facing the wrong direction, doesn't matter, your salat will be considered to be fine. This is why he says, إن اشتبهت عليه القبلة, if the Qibla becomes confusing to him, وَلَيْسَ بِحَضْرَتِهِ, and in his presence there is no one that he can ask. Right? There's no one, maybe it's the hotel, you ask the people which direction, they might know the directions. But if there's no one, or they don't know the direction, صَلَّى, he just prays. فَإِنْ عَلِمَ, if he realizes, أَنَّهُ أَخْطَأَ, that he made a mistake, بَعْدَمَا صَلَّى, after he prayed, فَلَا إِعَادَةَ عَلَيْهِ, he doesn't have to repeat it. That's the interesting thing in this masala, which is the Hanafis say that Allah only burdens you according to your circumstances. So if your circumstances are such that you can't find the Qibla, Allah would not expect more from you. We believe that Allah would not expect more from us. So you just pray in whichever way, direction you are facing, and khalas, that's it. Okay, so what if, for example, you are praying your salat, then this is the final one. You're praying your salat, you don't know which way the direction is, and then someone sees you and says to you, you're praying, Allahu Akbar, and someone sees you and says to you, by the way, you're facing in the wrong direction, right? The Qibla is like 180 degrees the other way. So in that case, you actually turn, full turn you can do in your salat and carry on your salat. You don't have to break your salat, right? But you have to turn in your salat. And this happened in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, where the Qibla used to be towards the north. And then when the Qibla changed towards the south, towards Mecca, then the Muslims in Salat, they shifted, they turned in their Salat, and the Imam came forward and the people went back like that. And so this is allowed, this is, right? If you realize in the middle of your Salat or someone tells you that you're in the wrong direction. But if you find out after you finished your Salat, then no problem. So if you look at this and he says, فَلَا إِعَادَ عَلَيْهِ وَإِنْ عَلِمَ ذَلِكَ وَهُوَ فِي الصَّلَاةِ, if he realized that whilst he's in Salat, istadara, he turns إِلَى الْقِبْلَةِ, to the direction of the Qibla, وَبَنَى عَلَيْهَا, and he builds upon that Salat. And there you go. That's basically the masla for today. So have a look at that. So it's just 4 maslas that we're dealing with. And the main thing to kind of understand is impurity on your clothes, you must remove it if it's more than the size of a dirham. And if you have no means to remove it, sometimes it might happen like, you have some sort of impurity on your clothing and there's no other clothing to wear and you can't wash it off, because there's no water available to wash it off. And likewise, if you don't have the appropriate clothing to cover your body with, then you can even pray then, right? You don't have to do qadha of your salat. You just pray, and you don't have to make up your salat afterwards again, because like we said, Allah only burdens a person more according to their capability. By the way, this ayah, Allah only burdens a person. Allah, does not burden a soul more than it can bear. This is only for legislation, okay? So, I know some people, they use this, in generally in life and say, when someone's going through a problem in life, they say Allah only burdens a soul according to what it can bear. That's not true in these situations. It's only true in legislation. In other words, in legislation, in Salat, in Zakat, in Hajj, in all these chapters, Allah will only burden a person in legislation according to what that person can bear. So if a person can not stand, then he sits. If he can't sit, then he sits down, lies down, right? So in other words, it's all dependent upon that situation. And then we talked about the situation of the niyyah. How many seconds or minutes before the takbir can you do your niyyah? So you can do it as long as you want, as long as between the niyyah and between the takbir, there's no other foreign actions which are foreign to salat. So that's the key there. So if there's a foreign action, you talk to someone, you answered your phone, or you did something else, you turned, and did something else, then that will not be allowed. This is according to majority of Hanafis. And finally, the issue of the Qibla. Facing the Qibla is necessary. If you're in the Kaaba, if you're in Makkah, Masjid al-Haram, you have to face the house, the Kaaba, the black building. You got to face that. If you're outside, then you only have to face the direction. So like if we're living in England, UK, we only have to face the direction. We don't have to hit the house, the Kaaba, like bang on. We don't have to. As long as we're in that rough direction, then that is sufficient, inshallah. Okay, let's have a look at some questions now. So, can a person pray if they have impurity on their clothes? Explain. What if they can't find anything to remove that impurity? Can they still pray? Do they have to do qadha? If a person has no clothes, what is the best way to pray? And if a person doesn't know where the Qibla is, what do they do? Explain. And there you go. So, Jazakumullah khair for watching this video, guys. It's a bit long. These Quduri videos seem to be getting longer now. I hope you guys like this. and share it with your friends. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, I would suggest. Check out my other videos as well. Check out Kanz, I do Kanz as well. I've started that. I've got other videos on Al-Qudoori and live streams that take place as well. Check out the live streams. And yeah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khair, guys, for all of your support. Without your support, I wouldn't have been able to produce the videos that I've put up on my YouTube channel. And there is so much more that I really want to do. And without the support of you guys who are patrons, generously supporting this channel, I've been able to get myself a camera, which, as you guys can see, the quality of this camera, mic system, software. I've been able to hire an editor. So what do I want to do? I want to make lots and lots and lots of more videos for beginners, for intermediate, advanced, in the subjects like Arabic and Fiqh and Hadith and Tafsir and Aqidah and all those other things as well. And for this to happen, again, this channel needs support. So if you guys want to become patrons and support this channel, then check out the link below. Also, if you do become patrons, you'll have access to videos that I don't put up on my normal YouTube channel. So check that out, inshallah. And there's most other perks as well that you guys can benefit from. And if you want to access this channel through social media, we've got Twitter, we've got Instagram, Facebook page, and other things as well that you can visit. So Jazakumullah khair again, guys. Thank you very much for your support. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khair for watching this video. I hope to see all of you guys. If you guys are interested, please leave us feedback, get in contact with us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.